Hello, everyone. Good to be here today. So today we're talking about building internal developer platforms. Yeah, and why trying to remove complexity often causes internal developer platforms to fail. So sounds like a contradiction. One of the things that many people want to do is build an internal developer platform, abstract away the complexity, make things simpler for developers. And I'm going to show today why that's actually an anti-pattern. So as background, I'm the CEO of Robusta. We develop an AI agent that turns Slack into internal developer portal for developers, and also a platform engineering ambassador. And we work with a ton of companies building platforms and speak to them all the time about what's working for them and what isn't working. And that's where this talk came from. So what is the real goal of building an internal developer platform? I would say only 3 things. First of all, you want to increase developer velocity. Second of all, you want to reduce the dependence of developers on DevOps. So when a developer wants to do something or deploy or figure out a problem with the deployment, he shouldn't be stuck waiting on a DevOps engineer. And 3, you want to do all that while maintaining standards. So think of a roller coaster. You're moving really fast, but if you fall off the roller coaster, obviously that's a terrible roller coaster. So we want to move fast while still having guardrails in place and maintaining the safety we need. So the big mistake goes something like this. People say, OK, we use Kubernetes. Kubernetes is really complex, so we should abstract it away. We should make it really simple for developers. Let's build a platform that will give developers something simpler on top of Kubernetes. And the reason that typically tends to not work is because in the Kubernetes ecosystem, the cloud native ecosystem, you have all these capabilities and all this technology out there. And then you go and you build a very simple and limited view on top of that. And that works at first when people have simple requirements. But afterwards, people come along, they want to do blue-green deployments, they want to do auto scaling, they want to do all these other complex things. And your platform naturally doesn't support that, right? You abstracted away Kubernetes, you gave a simple view on top, and your platform ends up not supporting all the growing requirements that people have downstream. So instead of really reducing the dependence of developers on DevOps, what you often end up doing is you now have to go off and add a bunch of those features to your platform. So you end up increasing the bottleneck on DevOps engineers in your organization. So I'm going to speak a little bit about what you should do instead. And before that, though, I want to say a word about why build a platform. It might sound like I'm saying you actually can't build a platform. There's no point. Don't go off building an internal developer platform. Well, there actually is a point to all of this. And the goal is to control the discovery of complexity. So our goal when we build internal developer platforms is not to abstract away complexity or remove it. It just is to impact the discovery of that complexity. So a good example of that is here's one of the world's most complex Lego creations. And Legos are really simple, right? Like my 2-year-old kid plays with Legos. He has a few blocks. He puts them together. You have a few really simple building blocks. And with those simple components, you can build really complex things. So Legos is a good example of something that starts really simple that anyone can pick up and learn. But you can do really complex things with it. So we want our platforms to be a little bit more like Legos in that you can start simple, but still get more and more complex over time. So a way to think about that is, like, let's say I want to build that big mega Star Wars destroyer with Lego, right? And I go into a Lego store. I have this huge selection. I have all these different things that I can buy, right? A million different types of Lego pieces, and I have to make all these decisions, and there's big cognitive load. Well, the way that Lego handles that is by packaging things up into kits. So when you're building an internal developer platform, you want to really package stuff up so it's easier to get started, even though you're really not changing the fundamental building blocks, which might just be cloud and Kubernetes. And then the final point on this is that platforms, they determine learning curves. So a bad platform is a platform where you've really done everything super simple, and then developers reach this point in building that platform. At the beginning, it's all super simple. And then they reach something that's a little bit more complex, and your platform breaks, and now you can't do it with the platform anymore. And now suddenly the complexity goes way up. So a good platform gives you that gradual learning curve and that gradual exposure to complexity. OK, so let me give you 5 practical rules for going out and actually building a platform that satisfies those needs. So the first one is don't change the nouns. So I think all of us would agree that, like, if you use Docker containers, you shouldn't rename Docker containers in your organization to application packages and call it something else. You're just going to confuse everyone. And if you go off and you look online how to build a Docker file, then, like, it's good that you'd be able to see how to build a Docker file. But when people build platforms on top of Kubernetes, they often try and change the nouns, abstract it away, ends up just confusing people. 2, improve workflows, not abstraction. So package stuff up just like those Lego kits, make it easier to do. Number 3, Complexity, first law of thermodynamics, can't be created or destroyed, just moved from shape to shape. Make it simpler for people to go, so when you have complexity, you can think about who you're assigning that complexity to, but you can't really get rid of complexity. You can take complexity like blue-green deployments, you can shift them around in the organization, but complexity comes from the requirements, not from what you're building. Fourth, the definition of platform is that people can do things on top of it that you didn't anticipate. So if people have to open up a Jira ticket for you to change your platform, it's not a platform. You built the dependence. And finally, don't hide the data, surface it up. No one wants to be in a car where you can't see the speed that you're going at, and you certainly won't learn to drive better over time if that was the case. So when you build internal developer platforms, don't try and hide things from developers. Try and make it more obvious, actually, and bring the data to them. If you follow those tips and you really work backwards and focus on improving developer velocity, then you're off to a great start with building internal developer platforms. Thank you.